It's live. It's Sunday night. The Nathan Young Designs B Cars in action. Auto Club Speedway. OCR TV bringing it to you. Flag to freaking flag. Thomas Morris, Trey Landry, Matt Kingston, the Action Pack, getting it done. Boys, are you ready?
The Action Pack is most certainly ready. This is the final race of this season, Mr. Producer. So we're expecting some action-packed, drama-filled strategy out the window kind of thing, trying to get that last win to get yourself in that playoff grid there, Matt. Or it could just be a normal Auto Club race, I'm not sure.
I'm hoping to see some strategy. I love me some fuel mileage and tire strategy. So
Oh,
I
two
hope to see
tires,
something
maybe?
crazy. Yeah, that should. Here at Auto Club, it does flip tires, so I don't know how well that'll work, but we'll see.
Well, right now, we can see the cars out on the speedway getting those qualifying laps in. We had the Chuck Sweeting and Mr. Eric Mika were 1-2. Peter Short was P3 in practice, so we'll see when they time in here in the Q runs. Probably going to get maybe one good lap in, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would expect just the one lap there.
That's the lovely voice of Trey Landry.
Holla!
So far, looks like Peter has set the pace. Looks like Eric with the, like to call it the choke clap there in the first lap.
I'm interested to see if Chuck turns a qualifying lap. He was the only driver in practice that turned a sub 40-second lap, so we'll see if he decides to get on track and try to back that up.
Tanner Sharp pops to the top of the board. Eric does pick up on a second lap, which is pretty impressive. With you though, Trey, I'd love to see Chuck qualify this week. Looks like he's filling in for Corey Lindsay, who's stepping out to do a little adminning duties here, so it'd be nice to see if Chuck puts her on pole and gets that 90 car in victory lane.
Yeah, I guess he's sitting out because of some rule changes here in the B series.
That's what I hear. Doing a little radical change in here to get us maybe back on track as we've headed to the bigger track. So hopefully the cautions kind of clear themselves out. We don't want to see anybody get caught up in any more messes throughout the events. But made some changes. Got a new, I believe, 2-spin rule or 2 self-spin rule, or actually, I guess bring out any caution for causing wreck or self-spin. So that should help lower the number of cautions. When we know, Trey, we've seen in other series that kind of lurking in the back of your head makes you think a little more careful about what you're doing out there on the track.
Without a doubt.
Unless you're Matt Kingston, then he'll spin under caution.
Only in Charlotte, but Tanner Sharp, nice lap there, 0.36. It's gonna put him right now at the pole position. We have Levi Zielinski coming back for his second lap, see if he can pick up a little bit of time, which would be kind of strange.
And it would appear so far that the Chuckster not running a Q lap, so gonna do that drive through the field once again. Oh, and how could I forget, guys? Hello to chat. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Well, that's a little surprising. I thought I'd see a little shake up there, but it looks like Tanner Sharp so far is gonna be your provisional pole sitter. Found that extra little bit of speed from practice there. Picked up not quite 400s, but just under that.
And guys, we haven't talked about it yet, but pretty hot little point battle we have right now between Mr. Hines and Mr. Thomas.
Hot and heavy.
Only 10 points separate those two boys, and this will be in the final race before the playoffs. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens, because you got to know that Johnny wants to make his way in to the playoffs. He's had a couple of terrible weeks with just terrible luck, so he's hoping he can turn that around.
Funny enough, they're actually starting 12th and 13th at the current moment, so no better place to start than beside your guy for the playoff spot, I guess. Unless on the pole would be better.
So what Johnny's going to want to do here is try to lead it halfway so we get that bonus point. So then it's only a 9-point deficit, but easier said than done, I think.
I don't know, Matt. You just got to be fast, right? And get your car up front. And make sure the pit strategy works out right and get that extra point. I mean,
that's
Truex
what I
does it all
say.
the time. So
Yeah. We'll be
Thank you,
talking to those
Trent.
folks
See.
here in just a moment after I get my sound issues figured out with iRacing, because I suck.
clearly, I was trying to look and see Johnny Thomas. He actually did get a 10th place finish last week at Richmond, but ran much closer to the front than that all night.
Well, we'll start off with
Things and such.
with getting Johnny Thomas, I guess, to come on up. Just gonna grab and pull
Bring
him
him on
here.
up.
And just like that, we have Johnny Thomas, driver of the number 83 machine for Johnny Thomas Racing. Now, you're only 10 points out right now of the playoff position, Johnny. Do you think this race you'll be able to come home with the checkered flag?
Hopefully, if I don't get the checkered, I probably won't make the playoffs. But it should be all right. It's kind of a loose track, so we'll see what happens. And if I can come away with a win, that'd be awesome. Get myself in the playoff.
Yeah, it's a little early for speculation right now, but do you think you'll roll the dice tonight, try to see if you can do something a little bit different with fuel strategy or tire strategy, and maybe put yourself in a great position to win?
Yeah, you got to do stuff, especially with these fast guys. They're going to be out in front, in the first, second, third, fourth, all those guys that are always up front every race. So I got to do something. California usually turns into a fuel mileage race anyway, so we'll see how that goes out, and I'll try to put myself in a position at the end to win the race. If not, I mean, I put myself in this position by missing a race early in the season, and I won't mind at all if Hines gets in, because he's been here every week, and he definitely deserves to be in the playoffs.
Well, Johnny, we wish you the best of luck here this evening, and we hope to see you at the top step of the podium and in the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Should be fun.
Podium. What is this, Matt? IndyCar?
It must be, because podium and such.
You gotta be at the victory lane. This is NASCAR.
Anyway, on that note, we'll grab Mr. Richard Hines. Here's a quick little interview, and there he is. We have Richard Hines, driver of the number 87 machine for, I believe it's Avon Racing. Now, Richard, you only have a 10-point buffer behind from Johnny Thomas. What do you think is going to be your keys to keep that buffer and maybe come home with a victory?
Well, I just need to keep Johnny in my sight all race and try to finish in front of him at the end.
Now, are you looking at doing any kind of strategy here at Auto Club? Because it's a long track, 2-mile track, and fuel strategy usually comes into effect in these big spots. So do you think you'll be able to maybe snooker the field a little bit with some strategy?
Every time I try to do that, I usually snooker myself.
I see the same luck that all of us in the booth have, unfortunately. But Richard, we hope to see you make the playoffs and maybe come home with a victory in victory lane, Thomas.
Thank you, guys.
There it is.
You know, every time I hear that guy talk, you know what runs through my mind, Matt?
Oh, no, what?
That country song, you know, if you ain't country, you can kiss my ass or whatever. I ain't saying nothing about being country because I'm pretty country myself, but that dude is country.
My kind of lad right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we did talk a little bit about the new rules and stuff. Should we grab the administrator of the league, Corey Lindsay, who is overseeing the event tonight?
Go
sure,
for
grab
it.
him up and shake him a little bit.
Without the elephant.
Oh, and I pulled him in into mid-conversation. How rude.
It wasn't me this time, Corey.
Well, Oh, Corey,
You're
we just
lucky.
want to we just want to know a little bit about the new rule changes that you put into effect for this race, and also moving forward with how that's going to affect the next playoff races in both the Cold Hard Art Cup Series and the Nathan Young Designs B-Car Series.
Well, Cup's been pretty okay. But these B-car races have been absolutely ridiculous. Some of it's been on me, some of it's been on the drivers, but ultimately it's going to be, if you're spinning out 2 times, you're going to get probation, you're going to get parked. They do that in a lot of local dirt tracks, 2 spins and you're done for the night. That's kind of how we came up with that. And the same goes with if you're causing 2 incidents in a race, you'll get the same treatment. I'm not going to be too, I don't know, I don't want to be doing it for racing incidents, but if there's somebody that's causing problems and it gets to be like a weekly thing, I'm gonna try to get out the bad eggs so we can get some racing in. That's what we want. We don't want to be having 20 cautions a race, and we don't want to be pacing around here for 2.5 hours. So we'll get it right and should have some better quality races, I would say. I think we have a really good schedule coming up, and as long as everything goes the way we want it to, it should be a lot of fun.
And Corey, I just want to thank you for not having a conventional NASCAR schedule, because that's just boring, and what you have there for the schedule is very, very intense. Like we have Watkins Glen, I know, in the Cold Hard Art Cup Series coming up, and also Milwaukee. So it's pretty interesting schedule.
Yeah, we tried to mix it up. We had a lot of short tracks here on the B-car side, and I saw what we had from that. I don't know if we're gonna continue with that or not. If we can get it straightened out here for the rest of the season, we'll reassess that. But yeah, it's a good schedule. I think everybody has a pretty good liking to it. We'll have to see what we got in store for 2018.
Now, I thought I saw mention, Corey, where Matt Hackathorn, I guess, would be the 3-wide engineer behind making some of these setups. Are you guys going to depend on Matt to make these B-car setups for the rest of the season?
We're going to give Matt the opportunity to see what iRacing has to give us, and then if it's, we don't want to do too many changes to like alter the setup completely, but if it's like what we saw at Richmond, we'll definitely make the changes to give it a better quality of race, I guess. We'll have to see what we got. Matt's doing that on Tuesdays, so any of the drivers that are listening in, if you're available Tuesday, he'd love to have you give your opinion on what we got to do to get this back on track.
I think I saw on Twitter where Matt's calling it the competition practice, where these guys can come in there and try to give Matt their input on the setup. So I think it's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, last week they actually came up with the Milwaukee setup. It was him, Richard, Hines, and Johnny Thomas. It was just 3 of them. They'd definitely like a few more guys to get their hands in it. So hit him up if you're looking to get this going.
I tell you, one guy you ought to pull in there is old Chuck. He's been known to turn a wrench or two.
We'll have to see how he does tonight. He's driving the 90, and it's putting me to shame. So we'll have to I'll have to get on him and see if he's interested for sure.
All right, Corey, we'll let you get back to your duties, man, as we're about to grid them up. So hopefully we have a good race tonight. I think we will.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I wouldn't say put to shame, Trey. I would just say Corey's a very smart businessman and putting a very fast driver in his car. So
without a doubt.
I mean, he could have like pulled within the talent pool. Maybe tried to pull Kingston in there and get some more incidents or something.
It'd be embarrassment for the 90 if I sat in that seat.
The admin would actually have to use the new rule on his own car. That would be pretty funny.
No, we're only
We're just,
seconds here.
10 seconds away from gridding them up, boys. This is your final shot to make the playoffs. Let's see who's going to man up or who's going to wreck out.
Hopefully more winning than wrecking.
Yeah, let's have a 4-way tie across the line or something crazy.
I wouldn't be able to handle that. My heart would just explode, I think.
I mean, I'd go full Marty Reed probably, but speaking of Marty Reed, let's grit him up and see how bad we can butcher this week. Starting on the pole for RK Motorsports, we got Tanner Sharp, already locked in the playoff grid, but would love to get another win here tonight. And to his outside, surprise, surprise, Peter Short gonna roll off P2 tonight.
Rolling off in row number 2, we have 2 guys with wins. Number 14, Kevin Finn, outside the 18 of Paul Ross.
And starting close to that 4th position, driver of the number 5, Sam Close, will be starting 5th. To his outside, and that number 8, Richard Lafferty, will be starting 6th.
Rolling off P7, we have the man who had the bionic brakes at Richmond, Levi Zielinski, and to his outside, point leader, Eric Mika, looking to extend his point lead by grabbing another win tonight and have smooth sailing in the playoffs here.
Speaking of row 5, we have the 39 of David Wilson, for Pilot Performance Group, to his outside, the number 2, Carlos Acosta.
And starting P11, Matt Hackthorne. And to his outside, Bubble Driver, 10 points ahead of the 13th place driver. You got Richard Hines starting 12th.
And rolling off 13th place tonight, Johnny Thomas, like we mentioned earlier, only 10 points off the cutoff right now. Would love to get in those playoffs so we could have that to brag about. Made playoffs in both the Cup and the B car. But to his outside, Rusty Webb, gonna roll off 14th. Gonna need to win tonight. Still in the playoff picture, but way outside the points. Definitely gonna need that win.
And starting out back of them, we have the number 63 of Mike Stevens, to his outside, 77, Jordan Teal.
And last car to take time, he's starting 17th. We got the Dark Stranger, Kyle Hanshaw. He's starting 17th. 18th, Chuck Sweeting, not in a new number this week. Usually we know Chuck driver of the 26. Tonight he's driving the 90. He'll start 18th. Cameron Rich will start 19th. Cody Wright, 21st. Chad Brown didn't take time. We'll start Tail Gun Charlie on the field.
Well, only one way to go for Chad Brown tonight. Still another guy in the playoff picture, but definitely need a win to get in there. So you never know. We've seen stranger things happen here at Auto Club. It looks like it would appear Cameron Rich did not take the grid, so he might be sitting this one out tonight as well.
I also do not see Cody Wright on the grid.
So we're minus a few, but overall still a pretty solid field tonight.
Yeah, Cody Wright's not even in the server, so.
Well, we picked the wrong time not to be in the server tonight.
Well, that's 2 positions Chad Brown has already picked up.
Man, he's
the biggest
man on the move
right now.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like Bert's going to get ready here to make this hard left turn behind the wall. Geez, already the Ford Mustang behind the wall. Going to make the hard left turn to pit lane and hand it over to Tanner and Peter Short here for the green flag.
Good jump by Tanner there as he makes his move. Peter Short, decent start for him. We're 3 wide going into turn 1 here.
Ah, it's California. There's plenty of room for that.
Lafferty went way up the hill there. Levi Zielinski said if he can make short work of those fellas in front of him.
Love that short backstretch. It just shows you how bumpy this place is.
It makes a paint shaker look like a trip to be inside of.
It's like Kevin Finn trying to make the move on Peter Short here for second. He's going to complete that pass.
Got Sam Close on the apron now in the front stretch, trying to go around Mika, but it didn't work.
And for anybody that's just tuning in, that is legal here at Auto Club. You can venture below that white line. Good little battle shaping up here with Matt Hackathorn, Carlos Acosta, and David Wilson. For, I believe it's the 9th position. Hackathorn to see if he can get it done. Turn 3.
Also, you got Eric Mickey looking low on Peter Short, trying to get third. It's like Peter Short might be playing a little possum here.
No, a little tire game maybe.
Maybe.
I think that's one thing to keep a note on tonight. We didn't mention pre-race, but tire wear here can be pretty significant if you overcook that right front.
I know
No
it's nice to see these guys
Man,
be
that was
able to
close.
run. It's nice to see these guys be able to run different grooves.
I thought Eric was gonna clean the 14's clock there for a minute.
Speaking of cleaning clocks, Chuck Sweeting is picking him up and putting him down. He's moved himself already, I believe, up into the 11th position. So he makes the pass on Carlos Acosta, and he's put his sights on Matt Hackathorn. Going to try to get in the top 10 in 4 laps.
Yeah, he's already gained 7 spots.
They should have told me. I could have put Corey Lindsey's name over Chuck, so it would look like it was just Corey Lindsey in the 90. That would have been like a headline, right? Because he needed to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, the N-Race admins makes the show. Mika and Finn have a nice little battle there for the 2nd position. Tanner Sharp still pretty close to those guys, even though they're battling side by side.
Yeah, hadn't really motored away, but he also might, like we mentioned, might just kind of be conserving his line there.
And we do know from previous broadcasts, Thomas, that Mika is pretty good here at Auto Club Speedway.
He has his moments. He's been fairly consistent this season. Got caught up in a wreck last week at Richmond, but overall obviously he was the point leader. Has 3 wins, which equals Peter Short's, but he's still been one of the most consistent cars all year.
Oh, we
Paul
got trouble.
Ross.
Paul Ross spinning on the backstretch.
He got it saved, and he's come back on the track. It's gonna be a caution.
No, hold the brake.
And he's like, ooh, wow! He almost got tagged in the back end by I think it was Kyle Hanshaw, 46.
I believe so. Yep.
That was the one where you go, oh no, he's coming back up. What do I
You're
do?
like, please stay down there. Please stay down there.
That looked like a push loose.
Yeah, most likely. We know these
Nah.
wide sweeping corners, Trey. They can set up for that.
Oh yeah, you got that wheel cranked to the left, and all of a sudden you realize I'm turning it too far left. The back end comes around right when those front tires get that grip.
Especially with this B car, you have to carry so much momentum.
Well, it would not surprise me to see everybody come down pit road.
Oh, 6 laps? That's like, it's 100 miles here.
Yeah, that's bad for the tires. I think the first lap's bad for the tires.
Tell
That
you
was
what,
a
it's
good little run though to figure out what you had in the car.
That's kind of encouraging to see these guys being able to run different lines. We saw Eric and Kevin Finn racing side by side, different lines. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, hopefully we can continue another little bit longer run, and we'll see if the track continues to widen out, or maybe guys will go lower, maybe get Kevin Harvick line here.
Matt Hackathorn looks like he's going to stay out for that bonus point, or maybe he's just going to try to take the lead here.
That's a little too early for strategy. Richard Hines, I
If
believe,
you-
had the same mindset, but unfortunately is not going to get that lap lead.
Corey Lindsey comes in and posts up the 18 with a single car spin, so one more, boys, and he's out of here.
Oh, that's the new rule already in effect. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Now, Paul Ross is pretty comfortable. Yeah, 44 points, so he's set to go to the next, to the playoff round, so he'll be fine. Not the way you want to head to the playoff round, though. We're getting
No.
disqualified from a race.
I can't
and on
see him.
and on probation, Thomas.
Yeah. That was a solid stop from Sam Close there. Bad one from Eric Mika. He'll lose 2 or 3 spots. 2, I believe.
Well, I think we're going to have to dial up Mr. Mika here and see why his pit crew is so slow.
Well, here's the problem with these two guys staying out. There's no cars a lap
Yep.
down, so
We saw this last week.
yeah.
And I don't believe they cleared it.
No, they
Correct.
didn't.
So you're going to have to stay out.
Yeah, he will. But nonetheless, I'm going to grab him here and we'll see what he thinks about his pit crew. We have the number 6 machine, Eric Mickey here. Eric, you say you had a kind of lackluster pit stop. What happened there?
I don't know. Can you tell me?
I think you might have borrowed the crew of your teammate there, and they just completely butchered it. Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't aggressive enough getting into the stall and getting out. But I was surprised to be beat by that many cars.
I'll talk a little bit serious here, Eric. You're the point lead right now, last race before the playoffs. And do you think you'll be able to get another win here at Auto Club Speedway and cement yourself as the top seed going into the playoffs?
I feel really good about it if we can get long green flag runs, but if we get some more yellows and we're not able to really let the cars run out and settle themselves, then it's just going to be down to track position on restarts.
Well, then there you have it, folks. We'll send Eric back down to his home and get back to regular scheduled programming.
Which is watching Buster, the pace car driver. Buster and Bert. I believe they're eating ice cream down the backstretch. Rocky Road for the rough road.
Well, it's going to be interesting. You're going to have Richard Hines on those old tires. I say old, 7-lap tires.
It's ancient.
Yeah, it's ancient. He's going to bring us back to this restart. We'll see how he stacks up with everybody behind him. He's got 4 freshies. I think he's going to be dead.
He'll be lucky to make it to turn 1 with the lead, I'm pretty sure, unless he gets a big jump here.
Looks like he's going to forfeit the lead here. He's on the apron coming around right now. He is. He's going to get a penalty for that, is he not?
He should. Pit lane should already be closed.
Well, that's not going to be good for a guy that wants to be able to finish in front of Johnny Thomas. If he does get posted for that, then it's going to be detrimental for him because he'll end up going a lap down.
Didn't he say he wasn't going to try anything crazy because it always backfires on him? So this
Yeah.
is probably the crazy thing that you shouldn't have tried.
So he snookered himself.
Apparently.
I'll keep everybody posted on that, but I believe the light's off on Bert's pace car.
Yes, we did. I mean, it's a Mustang. They could have, blown out, but we'll assume he turned them all, so.
Well, that will cycle Tanner Sharp back up to the front. Kevin Finn second. Sam Close, big winner on those pit stops, third. Peter Short fourth. Eric Micka rounding out the top 5. Oh, and boys, Chuck Sweeting P7.
So he picked up 2 more through that round of pit stops because he was P9 coming in. So.
Yeah.
He's not wasting any time.
I think Chuck was very eager to get back to racing after losing power for, what was it, about 5 days or so? I think he's been chomping at the bit to get back on the service, so he's going to take every opportunity he gets to get back to the front and get some laps here.
Yep.
And Richard Hines comes in. Got posted for entering a closed pit. He will have to pit under green flag conditions in order to get that cleared.
All right, pace car's down. Going to hand it back over to the front row. See if Tanner brings him. Nope, going to go ahead and get the jump already. Last time he brought him down a little bit further.
Oh, they cleared his black flag.
Ooh, interesting. We'll see how that develops throughout the event. Meanwhile, Sam Close going to take P2 from Kevin Finn.
Chuck Sweeting back there in Corey Lindsay's 90 machine looking to make the move on Richard Lafferty. This is sight set up from the 2 young lads up there with Peter Short and Eric Micka.
Hi, Eric Mickey looking to challenge Peter Short for the 4th place there.
Peter
Make that pass.
To
Yeah.
have no real challenge in his restart straight. Just kind of lets it, loses a couple spots and settles in, it looks like.
Well, he's safely locked in. Why not just play it easy? Race the track for a while.
Speaking
Sam
of taking
Close.
it easy, Sam Close not taking it easy, trying to go the long way around last time of Tanner Sharp, but cuts back in behind him there, man.
Well, he's going to have a run here off turn 2. He's going to look to the inside of that quarter panel there on Tanner Sharp going into turn 3.
One thing that's crazy here is you make that pass and it opens up such a hole. The guys behind you just get such a draft on you.
Yep, nice crossover move here by Tanner Sharp, trying to regain the lead. Looking to drag Kevin Finn with him.
He's going to get the pass made, so is Kevin Finn. It looks like. Let's see if Sam can drive it in there deep through 1 and 2.
Eric Mickey's going to join this battle right now, and he's looking to go right up the middle between Finn and Close. And don't look too far now, but we have Peter Short catching up, and also Chuck Sweeting right now scoring the 6th position.
So they're just trying to make this just a little party for the lead.
Eric got a good run through the center of the corner there as he pulls right up on the back bumper of Kevin Finn as he dives down on the front stretch. Side by side entering turn 1 here.
Looks like he's going to have enough momentum. Yep, going to clear him off the corner. Set his sights on the leader now.
Did open the door for Sam Close to get alongside Kevin Finn there for 3rd.
If my memory serves correct, back when the Cup cars were here, Sam Close was one of the better cars in the long run, so we'll see what he can do in this B car here.
Peter Short trying to search, see if he can find a hole between the 5 and the 14. However, none has opened up as of yet.
Yeah, he got a big run through the center of 3 and 4 there. Man.
Check up.
Whew. It's flirting with the laws of netcode right there.
Peter's loose. Chuck's loose.
Tanner's loose as Eric goes by Tanner.
New leader there in the number 6 machine.
Yeah, looks like Eric's trying to make a statement heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, Bill made a statement there with the wall.
Yeah, he did.
Careful, it might start a forest fire. It seems like you can get that lead, but some of these guys are just kind of letting you go and sizing you back up and bring you back down.
This is one of the best battles for the lead I've seen all season, guys. It's just constant barrage of cars coming up there and battling with you.
Not only for the lead, I mean, I would say to stay in the top 5. These guys are racing hard.
Yeah, we just had Zelensky get around Richard Lafferty, and that'll be for P7. Just about bumps the wall down.
Lafferty and Zelensky pass off a couple of pleasantries and continue on their way.
Got Sharp and Mickey side by side at a turn 2. Trying to retake the lead on the bottom here, and Kevin Finn looking for a way by.
Well, guys, your playoff bubble picture right now as it sits, Johnny Thomas is only 3 points away from tying with Richard Hines if it were to stay this way.
Johnny currently running 9th. Richard Hines back in 16th.
Ooh, Mickey got real tight there through corners number 1 and 2, and he watched way up. So lose another position to
that
Finn.
spot, if not one more. I was surprised there, Matt. They were able to run side by side for a couple of laps without any major incident.
Yeah, that's tough racing from great competitors up here. Tanner Sharp, Kevin Finn, Eric Mickey, Peter Short, Chuck Sweeting, Sam Close. This is probably the best of the best right now in the 3-wide racing league.
Yeah, you just have to look at your points to see that. And wins, these guys are all up front with wins and stout all season.
Oh, Kevin Finn gets a little bit loose there and keeps her back underneath him. I mean, sideways again.
Oh, it's still
come
sideways.
On, guys.
It's going to be a big
nice
momentum loss.
there.
Peter Short up the middle.
Looks like he can bring Chuck with him up the middle as well.
Chuck's going to back out of that situation. Thought better of that one. Looks like he's smart or something.
Right?
Has racecraft better than I have.
One of those crafty old veterans.
Tanner Sharp, well, this disaster, or whatever you would call his hat behind him, he stretched out to almost a second lead there in second place, Peter Short. 9/10 of a second.
Big winner out of that cluster.
Oh, yeah, he's loving what he's seeing behind him.
Mickey and Finn still side by side. Chuck Sweeting to jump back into the parity here.
Wow, they're just driving those things down in the corner. Ooh,
Oh,
14's
Finn's
in the wall.
Oh. Drove it in
Lose
there a
a
little
lot of
too much,
spots.
yeah.
Best thing is, if we get another caution, we'll be able to get that fender pulled back out and hopefully be able to contend back up here with these guys because they are some racy right now. Ooh.
This is almost like a plate track, the way they're drafting each other and using the air to push them around.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty interesting to watch.
A little bit of wiggle off the turn there for Chuck.
Looks like the longer these guys run, the more the back end wants to kind of skirt around on these guys, which is going to make, if we get a long green flag run, it's going to make this a very difficult track to drive.
Especially at a speedway like this, Matt, where you want to get that gas pretty much planted from center off, and if you have to get back out of it at all or make any corrections, it's going to kill you down the straightaway.
Looking back a little bit further in the field, Paul Ross, after that self-spin on lap 5, he's made his way back up to 10th. Currently in a battle for that position with Mike Stevens. Kevin Finn just in front of them. Johnny Thomas currently made his way up to 8th. He's just in front of these guys.
And I just realized there, Trey, sorry, Richard Hines has a bonus point from leading that lap, so right now Johnny Thomas is 11 points as it runs behind him, but I believe that'd be a 4-point deficit for Thomas right at this juncture.
Yeah, but Richard Hines should be a lap down, but that's none of my business.
Eric
Well,
Mickey made the
possibly
pass up there.
killing the lead lap because this track's so big.
Johnny Thomas did get around, Kevin Finn trying to get back around Johnny Thomas. Kevin had that little brush with the wall.
So Johnny's going to leave him plenty of room.
Yeah.
I should try and shut the door on Paul Ross. Not going to get it done, though.
Johnny's had such bad luck for the past couple of weeks. I think he's just going to try to survive this one and hope that all the cards play the correct way for him.
Yeah, I believe I heard him mention earlier in the season he wasn't really comfortable on these big, sweeping 2-mile tracks. So I'm sure he's just trying to make sure he keeps the car in one piece, like I said, Matt, and hope things evolve around him to where he can get in.
Ooh, Paul Ross got wicked loose there up off the corner. It's going to allow Johnny Thomas to strike on him and maybe Kevin Finn going to corner number 3.
Johnny had to get way out of the gas for Kevin Finn there. He got that big run down the back stretch.
It's like, when I go nowhere. Okay.
Johnny's going to be utilizing that apron there. See if he can get a good run here on these fellas in front of him.
Paul using that third groove up there, making it work.
Yeah, he is.
So nice launch
Some,
up.
heat coming to this track here. Not an overly hot day, only 99 track temp, so right on about average for a defaultish iRacing room.
Paul Ross going to use the bottom in number 3 and 4. See if that's going to help him out any as he gets a little bit loose up off again. We still have a dogfight for second position. They're all running single file right now. Peter Short gets a bit loose. Surrender that spot probably to Chuck Sweeting here.
I was just getting ready to say, Matt, I was wondering if they were all riding together to try and track down the leader, but I guess they're going to make any move they can if people get loose.
Mickey's cut in about 0.3 of a second there in the last few laps since he got into position 2, so we'll see if he can continue that uphill trend and try to take over the lead from the number 3 car.
I mean, I'm looking at time and score in the top 5, man. You could throw a blanket over everybody's times. I mean, it's just everybody's so equal.
Yeah, it's just those little mistakes we're seeing on corner exits what's costing some time.
It's don't look now, boys, but we're already 50 to go.
Wow. Picking them up and laying them down tonight, boys. believe they also shortened the B races just a touch, if I remember the release notes correctly.
Yes.
So it adds that extra little pressure, Trey. Less laps, new rules, playoff on the line. You gotta get it done tonight.
Sure do.
Well, Trey, I was thinking now, what do you think the fuel window will be here for these cars? Because they've run right now, I believe, close to 20 laps. So you must be thinking about going to pit road soon, because those tires must be on fire.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably, 75% fuel, maybe around 28, 30 laps. Because you can do, about 40, 42 on a fuel tank?
Yeah, it probably depends if you've been in draft or not, but I would say you probably you look at the number in your head and see what you can split this race into.
Eric Mickey's going to take over the lead from Tanner Sharp next time by, technically.
Yeah, he will draft by in turn 1.
Eric got that big run off turn 4, is able to complete that pass. So you got Chuck Sweeting lurking.
Cue the Jaws music.
Oh,
Eric
Mickey got
gets
to the wall.
a piece of the wall. No one wants to lead this race, apparently. They just can't hang on to it. They gotta give it back.
Ooh, careful.
Eric try to cut back in behind Chuck here, see if he can keep from losing too much time.
Man, Chuck got a run off 4 there.
Look behind him too. Peter Short also gaining in there, Trey.
We might be 3 wide going into turn 1 here for the lead.
Well, this is
And we
3
are.
wide racing. Eric
Oh,
drove that thing
Mickey.
into turn 1.
Mickey's going to have
Sure
trouble
did.
up off there.
Yeah,
Peter
he
Short
is.
looking low, and he gets blocked kind of half, not intentionally, by Tanner Sharp.
Tell you what, Eric made it work out of 2, though.
He did. I figured he'd be right on top of that wall and corner exit.
I'm telling you, I believe the groove might be widening out just a little bit so these guys can get that run through 1 and 2. Not sure if it's going to work enough, as it's actually going to prove me wrong through 3 and 4 on Chuck here.
That was a nice run there. Chuck got a little bit loose, but Chuck's able to utilize that apron, so he might be able to haul back up beside Mickey on corner entry.
No.
Not yet. Eric had that momentum down the straightaway.
Man, Mickey is driving that sucker in there.
Yeah, watch Chuck off turn 2. Chuck's been quick off turn 2 all night.
It's pretty stable that time.
Yeah.
He might have met his match here.
Peter Short pulls on the back of Tanner Sharp there, dives to the inside of turn 3 for that 3rd spot.
Instead of washing up there.
Not quite got him cleared yet.
Peter Short must have been saving his tires, Trey. That must be something new he's working.
Must be.
Ooh, it's a little side draft on the straightaway there.
Gotta love some of that side draft. Makes the racing much more interesting. And
As long as you
dangerous.
don't netcode them, you're all right.
Yeah.
I'm just loving this multi-groove racing.
Yeah,
Love
this is fantastic.
It's going to open the door for Sam Close as well, possibly into turn 3 here.
Like I say, there, huge props to iRacing for getting this dynamic track fixed and working properly, because we're seeing drivers kind of vary where they're going, which is incredibly cool to see.
Big run from the 5 there. Almost got up to the back bumper of Peter Short.
That's going to bring the whole top 5 back together within a second of each other.
And like you said, Matt, we're not too far outside the window of pit stops here, so it's not like this is running on fresh tires. These guys are driving on some pretty worn out rubber.
Oh, the 3 sideways down the backstretch. He gets it saved.
Ooh, careful down there. It's a little bumpy.
Yeah, that could shoot you right back into no man's land.
Cost him a lot of time there, though. He's going to have to hope for probably a caution to get caught back up.
For sure now, that's going to be impossible to gain. Especially with being sideways, that's going to make your tires even more angry at you.
As the 3 is heading a bit low.
First taker, green flag stops.
Probably a pretty smart call, because you weren't going to lose much more time by coming to pit lane.
I think Peter Short going to make the move around Sam Close there for P3.
3 Tanner Sharp now gets to his pit box. We'll see if he can get a good stop out of this and hopefully not lose much time to these guys up front.
And Matt, update on our bubble drivers. We got Johnny Thomas running 9th. Richard Hines has made his way up to P11. So
And knocking on the back door, Kevin Finn here for a top 10. So Richard Hines having a solid night so far, doing what he needs to do.
for sure. And the guy that's really wanting to caution is Kevin Finn, because I think that that wall damage has definitely affected his performance.
Mega run from Chuck this time out of turn 2. Didn't really take advantage of it. Just kind of tucked in behind Eric. I think he's playing a little, hey bud, I'm here. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, but he doesn't know Eric Mika very well.
Yeah, I believe Eric could sit all night and say, hi, how you doing? You're still back there? Thanks. Unless this is his brother Andrew, then he might spin out. So.
There's a huge run in the center of the corner from Mika, but he's going to lose a little bit of time up off, because I think Chuck has that nailed down there now.
Nailed down like a 2x4 in Florida. I think one thing that'll be fun to watch here is see how much quicker this 3-car is in the field right now. See how much time he's going to make up by this early gamble.
About 1.5 seconds a lap.
Which is going to put him probably pretty far back out front by the time if we can cycle through and stay green. So that'll be interesting to watch. Not sure what that's going to do to his strategy for the rest of the race, but it's one of the gambles we'll have to follow here.
And then we just made our halfway marker there. As Mika got it, but Chuck Sweet's looking to spoil the party.
Not quite, man. 35 and 35 is
Oh,
not
I thought it was
75.
70 laps. I'm sorry, I cannot do maths.
In America.
I'm on the Canadian system there, so
We
all's
got
good.
Chuck side by side with Eric Mika here.
There's a
Still
skirmish
side by
there.
side.
Oh, Paul Ross hip checked the number 8 Richard Lafferty into the outside wall that time through 3 and 4, but no other damage and nothing else wrong. He's kind of upset there. He got kicked out of the 5th position. These guys are evenly matched right now. Eric's probably trying to hold Chuck down there as best he can, so we can't get those good runs up off the corner.
Yeah, it looks like he's giving him just enough room, but also not enough room. If you're on the low line, you're kind of like, give me just a lane and a half more, thanks.
I think Chuck did get credit for leading that lap, though.
Yeah, I believe he's led at least 1, maybe 2 possibly in this exchange, as he's still right there with Eric. If he could just get that power
Mickey
down
Son
as
on
Eric
it.
sideways,
Oh,
that might
and
be
look
all
at
he
that,
needed.
He didn't lose any time going down the back when being sideways. That's just incredible.
He might have him clear in 3 this time. Yep, Eric's going to slide back in and see if he can maybe get the undercut here.
He should be able to. It's a nice run up off center.
Oh, man, he
Wreck
tried.
behind, I believe, too.
Oh, man.
Somebody nailed something.
It's a good job.
Peter Short nailed the outside wall in
Yes,
turn
he
4.
did. Wow.
That
was
was
like
a
a blowing tire on that. He just went
Everything
straight
happens
forward.
at once here.
that was a good job by Eric to get out of the gas and keep from wrecking him and Chuck both.
Oh, yeah, you could hear him really backpedal it. That's very track awareness or race car awareness move there. It would have been easy just to push up into Chuck and take that spot.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, other story, Peter Short did completely try and move the turn 4 wall that last lap, so didn't move though.
It's 2 Eisentech Enterprise cars that have had issues with the outside wall this evening. Kevin Finn in the 14 and Peter Short in the 33.
Yeah, I believe Peter hit it. I'd say he hit it harder than Kevin did.
Yeah, he gave that thing a good whack.
That little bobble didn't hurt Eric too much as he's still trying to run back down Chuck here.
He's super loose up off the corner, though, as we see lap after lap. He just sawed on it.
Yeah, he's got Tanner Sharp coming up behind him right now, who's motoring, running 40.4 just to Eric's 41.6 last lap. So
Oh, he gets loose and Tanner. Oh, Tanner's
beep.
on the new tires. Yeah. I was gonna say, how did he get that much of a run? And then I remember
he's already gonna unlap himself before these guys pit. So it just shows you what these tires are doing.
he's running over a second faster there right now. and the two guys in
I
front of him.
believe he's the only guy who's made this early call, so
Yeah.
sometimes you got to do what they don't. So
Kevin Finn saying he's going in with the 3 sideways down the back. Again, the same spot as he was last time. Keep it off the wall, buddy. You
Ooh,
got
good
it.
save. It's gonna hurt his advancement there through the field. Well, this is drastically changed around for the bubble playoff spot here. Johnny Thomas just one spot ahead of Richard Hines right now, both in the top 10.
And Hines fixing to take that spot away from him. They're going to be side by side here through corner number 4.
I believe Johnny Thomas is coming to pit
Yeah,
lane.
he
Yes,
has
he is.
to be.
Wow, he lost a lot of time to Kevin Finn. Though,
Looks like everybody's a lot of people's
Kevin
coming.
Finn's around.
Saved it.
Gonna miss pit lane though.
Oh, when it
That's
rains,
costly.
it pours, yeah.
That's a very, I mean, it looks easy to get on pit lane, and it's not one of the most challenging ones, but the speed you carry in is the biggest factor here.
And on old tires as well, makes it really hard to manage. Johnny Thomas slides through his pit stall, almost hits the inside wall, but he's good.
Got Eric Micka coming to pit lane as he's very cautiously coming to pit lane.
Peter Short roaring in there like a fighter jet. Puts her down
These
to pit
cars
road speed.
have a little bit of rear brake dialed into them as well, because I've seen a lot of guys hop the back end coming to pit lane. Got Paul Ross, Lafferty, looks like Matt Hackathorn coming in, Richard Hines coming in. Chad Brown gonna probably come in next lap. Kevin Finn gonna make it this time. Now the worst thing you can do is speed when you do this.
Oh yeah, we got the leader getting ready to come down pit road. Chuck.
Sam
Looks like
Close
Sam
probably
Close
going to be
gonna
coming too. Yep.
fall. Yes, he is.
Levi Sablinski, I think, is the first car to not pit right now. Last car to not pit, sorry, right now.
Oh, Chuck's around coming into pit lane.
Oh, hits
pounds
the
the
inside wall.
Chuck.
Should be okay, but not what he wanted to see. See if I
Chuck.
can see that front end. Oh yeah, that right front's tore to pieces.
That is a uncharacteristic mistake by Chuck there.
Well, if there's a weakness, that is Chuck's weakness. It will be getting onto pit lane.
That is true. I will give you
And
that.
it looked like I had mentioned earlier. Maybe he had some rear brake dialed into that car, and it just did not stop. So that's definitely costly for him. Probably going to hand the lead back to Eric once we cycle through. Or Tanner, I guess, but it won't be too long. These guys will probably run him back down now.
Paul Ross in the 18 clapped the outside wall pretty hard.
Did it clap back?
Looks like
Couple
Eric
times.
Mickey is gonna cycle into second with Peter Short third, Sam Close fourth, who's just now coming up to speed on the backstretch.
Seeing where Chuck's cycling out here. Looks like Hackathorn, Paul Ross, Richard Lafferty all going to get around him. So that was very costly, not to mention the speed he's going to be down now for the rest of the race.
He needs a caution, boys, but the way this race has been going, I don't know if he's gonna get one.
It's not looking very promising, is it?
I'm
And
just looking at the groove on the racetrack, man. Look how wide that thing is.
It's getting darker too.
Yeah.
Only about 4/10 quicker than Tanner Sharp was Eric Mickey that lap, so not blindly faster, but just gonna slowly reel him in here.
I'm gonna say
Even with
Tanner's-
that big slide there, Matt Tanner only has a 5.5 second lead. So I mean, think about what it could have been if he wouldn't have had that another slide in the backstretch.
Yeah, he would have been gone, but I know Tanner's going to want one more caution. But I do believe these guys are all going to have to make one more pit stop for the end of this race, but I'm not good at math, as we've already seen, so...
At least one. I think Tanner, he should be all right as well. His is just going to come much earlier than these guys.
He might be out front at the right time if it does come earlier and it's not too early for him.
Well, he's going to have to make sure not to slide that car off of turn 2 again as well.
I don't know. It's going to be close. I'm seeing what Chuck ran 32 laps that last time, so it's going to be close.
You're saying someone might gamble, Trey?
Yeah.
Maybe a Johnny Thomas?
He's got nothing to lose.
And everything to gain.
He actually gained a little bit through that cycle, not position-wise, but as far as the people around him on track, he gained a lot of time on Richard Hines. As he's falling back to the 12th spot through this cycle. Someone's hard on the inside wall of turn 2. It's Levi Zielinski. Well off the track, should be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be done for the evening there. He took the whole back end of it, I think. Unfortunate to see, because he was running pretty decently there at the start of this race.
It looks like Mike's... Man, it looks like Mike Stevens kind of got mixed up in that as well.
I believe he got loose down the front stretch. And oh, I know what he did. There's a cone. The pit exit cone is so far out here. When you try and come back on the track, sometimes you'll clip it and it'll give you a black flag. Heck of a save from Mr. Stevens there. Alright, now we're starting to see a little more time creep in here as Eric's cut it down to 3.5 seconds for Tanner. I don't know, boys. That 90 machine not running terrible lap times.
I think it looks a lot worse than it actually is. However, the time on track is just going to hurt Chuck quite greatly.
What do you do? Channel as inner Randall Fox there?
Quite possible.
I actually think he channeled his inner Matt Kingston there on pit road entry.
Well, that'd be a Thomas Fredericks.
I'm usually fine on pit road until I hit the wall.
I mean, I don't know, man. Chuck ran his fastest lap after that exchange of pit stops, so what the hell do I know?
That's why we're up here.
Paul
So-
Ross, nice little battle here right now with Richard Lafferty in the 8 machine. They're catching up, I do believe, to the lap car of Rusty Webb, however. See if he plays any factor in maybe a pick, because that's a 3OG teammate.
Yeah, actually 2 laps down for Rusty Webb, so not the night he was looking for.
No, another one of the fellas that needs a win here tonight to make the playoffs. Wait, that's not right.
Yes, Rusty Webb does.
Okay, yes.
Didn't Paul Ross and Richard Lafferty have a little tit for tat before pit stops? Little hip check, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Funny how that
It was
works.
for the same position.
It's like, well, you hit me last time, so not just gonna pull over this time. Thanks, though.
Can't really blame him, can you?
Oh no, hit me once. And we'll battle out after that.
Speaking of battling, Chuck just got a mega run coming up off of turn 2 on Paul Ross. We'll see if he can draft his way, maybe to be able to put himself into a good position off of corner number 4.
Speaking of hotting up, Eric Mickey has closed that gap to a 2.5 to Tanner Sharp.
Oh, Lafferty and Paul Ross got loose. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch. Sweeting
Chuck's
back
like,
there.
where do I
just-
go?
Yeah, just waiting for the fireworks. Oh, Paul's
18
loose.
sideways, Chuck sideways.
Yeah, I think Chuck got a little sideways jumping off the gas there.
Looks like those fresher tires from Mr. Webb's gonna let him kind of stay in front of these guys for a little bit.
Paul Ross will be side by side now, battling into corner number 1. We'll see what he can do here. Should be able to pull in front of him.
Ooh, Lafferty sideways there. Still sideways.
He lost 2 spots there. It's going to be under fire from Hackathorn. Might lose 3 spots before this lap is over.
Yes, most certainly he will.
Oh, Lafferty's sideways or swinging at him. We don't know which yet. I assume sideways as Chuck Sweeting gets by him.
Looks like the mixture is just about to reel in Tanner here. Let's see if he can make the move in turn 3.
Just about. He has. Side by side going into turn 3.
Well, it wasn't completed yet. Now it is.
$20 to go. I expect Eric with those fresher tires than Tanner. He's just going to pull away here.
Now, if you're Tanner, you're going to have to pit again regardless because he pitted so early. When are you going to hedge your bets here and come back in? Because I believe the Delta's starting to swing where you need to come in and get those fresh tires again.
I'd come in probably next lap time by Thomas on this one. I don't want to stay out there any longer than I have to.
The other guys are starting to Delta off to about a 41 flat, and we know we've seen new tires run around a 40.1, 40.2. So.
Where he sits right now, Thomas, is really close to the leader. Like he's literally
And
on the
here he
bumper of the
comes.
leader.
Yep, here he comes. Good call, Thomas.
I finally got one.
Yeah.
What race is this? Week 13?
Yeah, right.
It's like our 84th race of the season, and I finally got a call right. Yeah. Did you miss his pit stall there or something?
Way to go, Greg Ives.
Oh! Never heard of her.
I could pull better strategy than that fella.
It's like Chuck's getting around the lap car rest of it. Give these guys plenty of room. Hackathorn's gonna try. Nope, can't quite get him clear there. To fall in line behind him. Can give you an update on Kevin Finn as well. Just caught that in my corner of my eye. He's 14th in the 14, so definitely didn't go his way. May have got some of that damage fixed on pit lane, or just had a bad pit stop in general. Oh, I'm sorry, he missed pit lane, didn't he? So yeah, that totally destroyed his night.
Tanner Sharp.
Why is he so far back?
Tanner Sharp's gonna slot in there behind the 5-car Sam Close, I believe, just getting lapped. So he's only 3 seconds away from unlapping himself.
Yes'ms. But now he's got to run really, really fast.
Run, Forrest, run!
And hope these other guys have to pit.
Yeah.
Because he can get his lap back, but I don't know if he's going to make up 40 seconds.
Here's the other thing too, Thomas, is these guys won't have to take a splash of fuel, really, if they have to come in. It's not going to be like they have to change tires, so the Delta will be a lot smaller.
Forward, surely.
I'm telling you guys, man, there's somebody out there that can make it. I'm
we
thinking
know Chuck can make the pass on Paul Ross.
Yeah, for sure. I think Chuck can make it to the end.
I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah, he was one of the last guys to pit, so we'll see here.
Yep, only time will tell.
I know Chuck's probably hoping he can make it, but he probably doesn't want to try to pit again.
Chuck, if you can make it, tell us in chat. If you can't type and drive at the same time, I would just pull over and tell us and then get the car going.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. Totally.
Or is Chuck married? He can get his wife to do it. Hit T on the keyboard and then Alt F4. She's like, and now we're going to watch Netflix. As Mike Stevens headed down pit lane. Currently 2 laps down. So just a little off sequence there. Maybe getting some fresh tires as he slides through his pit stall.
Tanner Sharp fixing to unlap himself here. He's right now about 2.5 seconds behind our leader, Eric Mickey. Oh, Peter Short saw on up off of turn 2. Nice save there. To open the door for Sam Closa to take over that second position from Mr. Short. He's got a nice run through 3 and 4 though. See if he can keep it going up off corner exit.
Sam's going to play a little defense there, go to the bottom, cut that draft away from him.
Getting insider
good job,
info
Chad.
there.
Looks like Chuck said he's good to go, so Tanner's definitely going to have to hammer down.
Now a little tidbit here on Peter Short. He's going to be the only person right now that could win all of the championships on the 3-Wide Racing League. He won the 3 Rock Series. He pretty much has the Dirt Championship tied up, and he's also in both of these playoff pictures close to the top seeds in both the Cold Hard Air Cup Series and this Nathan Young Designs B-Car Series. That'd be a heck of a feat to be able to do that.
Yes, that would be pretty impressive. Can tell you, turn 2 just claimed another victim. Rusty Webb done for the night. Backed her in the inside wall off of turn 2. So if Chuck's good, then Eric should be good. Because they came in, right? Did they come in together? Okay, with Chuck.
Yes, they did. It was Eric and Chuck, you're correct. Maybe it was Peter Short then that came in. I know there was somebody with him.
Numbers are hard.
Stand by, I'll go find out.
Well, Eric came in on lap 43.
Peter Short also came down on 43, and Chuck came down on lap 43 as well.
So, okay. So now we need a late race caution to set this up.
Yeah, to set this into a complete
Oh,
mess.
Jordan Till in a mess into turn 3. It's through the grass. Looks like he's going to keep it from spearing back up the track there.
That's a heck of a drive there from that 77 machine. That's hard to do.
I thought it was going to come back through the field there. Got Matt Hackathorn making his way up to P5 right now. Little burst of momentum from that solid run last week.
He wants to get interviewed again, I think.
Oh, he's not that crazy, is he?
To slot him up there in the 4th position now. He's trying to put his sights on Peter Short. He's quite a big piece away, distance-wise, but he might be able to do it as we're coming on to 10 laps to go.
Tell you one thing, if anyone was short on fuel in the top 5, they didn't show it, because no one
Right.
lifted.
Looks like the 77 Jordan Teal may be done for the night. He's still sitting on pit road after that last mess he found himself into.
He might be checking his underwear on that one. That was an e-ticket ride through the grass.
Ooh, Hackathorn looking like he's loose there when he was cutting the seams on 1 and 2, but he wasn't too terrible. He got it back, geared up in the right direction.
I believe he complained about clean air, which is funny.
Well, he's got clean air, but he's got Chuck pushing him.
Clean in the front, dirty in the back.
Yeah.
Actually driving away from Chuck now, so maybe that damage coming into play a little bit for Chuck here in the later stages of the run.
Speaking of damage, we still got Paul Ross and Richard Lafferty nose to tail here for that 6th and 7th spot.
Just can't get away from each other.
Eric Mickey's comfortable lead over Sam Close, almost 4 seconds. Sam Close is gaining though. Eric ran a 3:01 to Sam Close's 3:00.
Ooh. I'm actually showing on the official timing scoring, they both ran a 3 flat.
Some would say they're running the same pace.
It's really close. Doo-doo-ch.
Matt Hackathorn's consistently running faster lap times than Peter Short. Unfortunately, I think it's be too little too late as we're almost inside 5 laps to go here, working lap 69 of 75.
Yeah, I'm surprised at this 12 car. Just right here at the end, turned it on. Didn't show that speed early in the early run, so not sure where he found this pace late in the race, but definitely turned the go pedal up there. Now, is chat lying to us? Because I believe I just heard Mr. Chuck Sweeting clutch it in turn 3.
Uh-oh.
James, are we already going to have to fire you as our inside reporter?
Maybe somebody was lying
Oh.
to James.
He
He just
clutched
did it
it.
again in turn 1, yeah.
He clutched that from pretty well just a little bit past the stripe.
That's why he's losing so much time. I don't believe he was as good on gas as he claimed to be. Dun dun dun.
Well, this is going to put my sights on the number 12 car, Matt Hagathorn. I wonder when he pitted compared to the rest of these folks.
We're going to find out because we're within 5 laps to go now.
Yeah, Chuck just gave that position up to Paul Ross.
Yeah, he lost 2 or 3 to that lap because he lost one to Richard Lafferty too.
Now, guys, Sam Close stayed out 1 lap extra, and he's super loose there through the center of that corner. But he stayed out 1 lap extra, pitting on lap 44 as opposed to 43. I wonder if that's going to be enough to maybe make him be able to go, and not clutch.
I'll tell you
I
what,
love to see the transcripts of this race.
Tell you what, Chuck looks like he's the only one trying to save fuel.
Yeah, he was pretty aggressive last lap. Maybe a little too aggressive. I think he clutched it halfway down the straightaway.
Peter Short hot hammered the wall again inside turn 4. And looking in the chat here, James Duke says crew chief of the 90 might have used Canadian math in his fuel calculations.
Oh. We're in gallons in America, not liters, eh?
That's gonna hurt.
I gotta say though, Eric Mika has not lifted any, so if he's short, he's short. Of course, he has nothing to lose, so I don't think he would pit unless he was he might only be half a lap short or something.
The only one that has something to lose here, well, gain, I guess, in this sense, for Matt Hagathorn. If he can outlast these guys in front of him, he could make his way into the chase with a win. But he pitted the same lap as the rest of them, so I don't know how he'd have more gas than the rest of those folks. But he's still putting down some blistering lap times.
They would need to run out though, because he's got a lot of time to make up 9 seconds to Eric. So, but it'd be the comeback story because he's currently 47 points out of the chase or playoffs. So we're on the penultimate lap of the regular season.
Well, 2 to go, boys. We'll see.
As James said, it appears it's good enough for the tap on the gauge. He's got plenty of fuel, so just had an Eric Jones moment.
Matt Hagathorn says his rear tires gave up on him, but if he's inside this fuel window that some people are right on the bubble of.
Could have fooled me. He was 4/10 quicker than Peter Short last night.
Yeah.
That's a white flag. Eric Mickey's got to make it around 2 more miles. Bring home the win here. Make a big statement heading into the playoffs.
Big statement with those tiny hands.
For sure.
So far, so good. I believe he could coast from there.
It'll come off turn 4 without issue there.
Yep, smooth sailing for Mickey. He's going to pick up his 4th win of the season here in the Nathan Young Designs Beat Car Series. Looks like Sam Close is going to come home P2. Peter Short P3. Yep, Matt Hagathorn P4.
Oh,
Richard
Johnny
Lafferty,
Thom-
P5.
Johnny Thomas had a great showing there. P8 stayed out of trouble all evening, but unfortunately he misses the chase, and Richard Hines makes her in as the bottom seed.
Playoffs, man. Playoffs.
Misses the
good.
playoffs.
Yeah, good job by Richard doing what he had to do.
Solid
Hey,
run.
Yeah,
top
solid
10.
run. Top 10.
Even after the pit miscue.
Great run by Hackathorn, finishing another top 5, second week in a row. Shout out to David Wilson, a resident VR Twitcher. He rounds out the top 10. Good run for him. Tanner Sharp, unfortunate, just could muster a 13th place finish after showing a lot of speed early in the race.
Yeah, that one little miscue kind of set the tone there. He needed that one yellow at the right time to get caught back up, or he could have been right there with Eric and Sam battling for that win for sure.
Shout out to these guys, man. Quick race. One caution tonight. That was for the self-spin of Paul Ross. But other than that, some outstanding racing. Great to see these guys be able to run multiple lanes in the track and put on a good show.
Without a doubt, Mr. Landry.
That was exciting, flag to flag. That there was racing all over the track. You could kind of just look around and see what you want to talk about, because a lot of these guys were side by side for a good portion of this event.
Well, you can take a look at the results on your screen right now, and for a lot of these guys, playtime's over. You kind of had fun tonight. You didn't get to do anything, and now you actually have to go to work.
All right, speaking of getting to work, I got Peter Shorten here. He started second, brought it home third, but Peter, looked like you had to do some work there. Hit the wall a couple of times. Looked like the setup was a little bit of a handful for you on the long run, but tell us about the race tonight, bud.
Yeah, not proud with the P3 finish tonight. I felt like I was just, biding my time there at the end of the first long run, and I don't know. I did something different in the corner. It didn't feel like I did anything different, but I got up into the outside wall, and as soon as I did that, man, I had 30 seconds of optional damage, and that really hurt the second run. I was able to get, I guess, enough time on a couple drivers to finally finish P3. I know Chuck ran into a few issues. Had a fantastic pit stop, 12.1 second stop. I think that might be the fastest I've had all season. And that definitely helped, because if I didn't have that fast pit stop, I would have fallen into clutches of Hackathorn. It was a good run for him tonight. But Eric, kept his nose clean. I think Sam also kept his nose clean. Not 100% sure about that, but I know Eric did. And that's what is important at tracks like this, where downforce is pretty much everything. And I did the same thing earlier this season in the Cup side. I pounded the outside wall into San Bernardino County, and it's one of those things. You destroy your right front, you're going to suffer for the remainder of the race. And I think if we had gotten a caution flag, I really would have been screwed. I wouldn't have been third. But all in all, great run for points. Here we are into the chase. At least it's a little bit of momentum. Eric's got the momentum without a doubt going into the chase. But next week, hopefully be able to put a little bit more time into not only this series, but also on the Cup side, and also looking forward to running that Petit Le Mans later in a couple of weeks. So got to start working on my form there on the road side of things. But all in all, decent night.
Well, you covered everything there, but I guess I'll ask you the same question from about 3 weeks ago when I asked you again. What tracks are you really looking forward to in the playoffs? Did you get a chance to take a look at it in both the Nathan Young Design Speaker Series and the Cold Haired Eric Cup Series?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. We have one road course left on the schedule, and that is where I am just absolutely looking forward to. I love them road courses, especially with the B car and the Cup car. For some reason, something about the amount of weight in these cars, I seem to do well on them, better in these cars than I do in an actual road course car. So I'm really looking forward to Mid-Ohio, which is in the first round. Texas is the next race, which is my home track, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Dover is another one of those. Yeah, exactly, right. A lot of confidence. Dover, I really like Dover, because it races different than any other racetrack, and that's pretty cool. Phoenix is similar to that, and Talladega is really the bogey. So, and then Homestead, I'm not good at a downforce track. Either I hit the wall or I'm just slower on a track that requires lots of downforce. So Homestead is really a joker for me, and it's kind of a shame the season has to end there, but that's the card we're all dealt, and hopefully I can put some practice in that week and step it up if I get to that final round.
I'm sure we'll see you there, Peter.
Yeah. I will say, though, this is probably one of the few races here in the Nathan Young Design Series where you haven't led a lap.
Yeah, I felt like I wanted to go a little bit easy early in the run, and Tanner was really fast for the short run, and just based on how I felt racing people, it felt like everyone was racing really hard, and I felt like, oh, we're going to get a long green flag run. Eventually, we did get a long green flag run, and I felt like I was comparable with Eric on pace on that first green flag run until I smacked the wall. So I could have raced hard early, but I felt like that was going to hurt me in the long run. And sure enough, we did get those long runs. It was just the driver who didn't have much of a brain tonight. So that's all on me, and we'll look forward to this chase.
All right, Peter. Well, again, stout run, and to steal this line from Kevin Finn, if there's a pita on your skeeta, whack it off.
That's a new one.
Oh my god.
Stop reading chat.
This is just terrible.
All right, speaking of whacking off, I got him, the driver of that number 5, Sam Close. He started 5th. He walked into a conversation he probably wished he hadn't. He brought it home second tonight, led 1 lap, but was pretty stout there at the end. Tell us about your race, Sam.
Good race overall. I might have whacked off a little bit too much there, but getting into the pits on that last stop, I knew we were having to stretch it. I was just trying to take care of it, and I think with the worn out tires, I had practiced pitting before, but I just slid through my pit stall. So I probably lost a second or two there. Maybe if I could have been sniffing a little bit more air, I might have had something for him, but Eric was really fast. So even if I had been there, it probably would have been pretty hard to pass him. But overall, good race. Just trying to get into that mode where stay solid and consistent through entire runs and stay out of trouble and try to get good finishes. Because I think that's the biggest thing, getting through the first couple rounds of the playoffs. So just trying to get in that mental state.
Now,
Sam, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, no, Sam, you're not an actual regular week in week out driver here in the B series, or is this something you're gonna do more in the playoffs to maybe get your rhythm going into the Cup races on Monday?
I don't know. I just kind of run the B cars when I get a wild hair up my butt. So, I like Auto Club. So I figured I'd come run it. Once we get into the playoffs, I'll probably butt out of a couple of those races, especially the important ones, just to kind of stay out of the way.
Now, Sam, we saw early in the race, you guys in the top 5, we could have thrown a blanket over you. You guys were so close. But one thing we noticed in the broadcast booth, and I'm just wondering if you noticed the same thing, is the different lines you guys were able to run. Did you find that to be true, that you could adjust your line to find speed on the racetrack?
Absolutely. Especially into 1 and 2. I was trying to do a little bit something different there, but I ended up trying to make the higher entry and woe it up and then get bigger runs off, but it had a tendency to make me a little bit loose on exit, and then I'd end up fighting it. But you could kind of do a low line in 1 and 2 where you could do a little bit of a medium and then cut down. I think 3 and 4, the best line was just getting to the bottom and then driving out. I don't know how much of a variation some of the other guys had on that, but there was definitely some different lines. And I think with some more laps, might have been able to fine-tune that a little bit more, but just didn't have the time.
All right, Sam. Well, before we let you go, man, give us those shout-outs, bud.
Nathan Young Designs, 3OG, Corey, everybody. Good racing. It was a lot of fun tonight, so appreciate you guys doing the broadcast.
All right, Sam. Well, we appreciate it, buddy. Congrats. Stout run tonight. We look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, guys. I got him. Disappointing qualifying effort for our winner. He started 8th, but he wasted no time powering his way to the front. Led a race. Well, I stand corrected. Not a race high. He ran 30. He led 31 laps, but was able to make the pit stops when it counted. Perfect execution on pit road. He brings it home. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I know he loves it when we say that. Eric Mika, driver of the number 6 machine. Tell us about your race.
Well, the first half was very different from the second half. I've been looking forward to this race since we canceled it or postponed it back on Memorial Day. So I'm really happy we finally got to run it. And I felt confident about it all that time. I wasn't counting on Chuck being in this one, so that was a surprise. But he was good. I'm not sure what happened to him out there late in the race with that last pit stop. I'm not sure why he fell back the way he did. And the 3, we were just speaking, and he had some issues too. So had a little luck fall my way when things got tough with the top 3. But it was a fun battle, fun race all the way through.
Now, Eric, heading into the playoffs, the first round coming up next week will be Texas, and then Mid-Ohio, and I believe another mile and a half at Chicagoland. We've seen you've had pretty good speed on the mile and a half this year. We know Peter's been quite the demon on the road course, but you looking at maybe just doing what you're doing all season, hoping that gets you into the next round and not have to do anything crazy, and hopefully don't have to come from behind or anything, getting caught up in any massive wrecks or something.
Yeah, it's you can't really approach it very different besides maybe thinking twice about taking a risk, just because if it doesn't work out, it maybe hurts you more. But with the exception of, the setup is, and the state of the track at Texas is going to make a difference in how treacherous that is. I think we all know what turn 2 can be like at that track. So if you don't have a setup and track conditions that are working well together, anybody could fall victim to problems there. That's my worry about that track. The road course, I feel pretty confident that we can have a good run there, and I'm really looking forward to Chicagoland about as much as I was looking forward to Auto Club. So that'll be a fun race too. But this first round, I feel pretty good about, as long as we can get through Texas.
Now, how about Homestead, Eric? Do you think that's going to be a tough one if you make it to the final 4?
I'm sure it'll be tough. I don't think any of this is going to be easy now that we're down to eliminations and playoff rounds and all that. And then you've got people who aren't in the playoffs, but they're just going to go out there and try everything they can to get wins, and they're not really going to care too much about you or what your championship plans are, and they shouldn't. But Homestead is one of my favorite tracks to race at, if not my favorite track to race at on iRacing. So I'm more than happy that that's the end of the season.
All right, Eric. Well, you definitely made a statement heading into the playoffs by winning the race, leading 31 laps. You've been stout all year. I expect you'll be stout in the playoffs. But before we let you go, you know the deal, brother. Give us those shout-outs.
I really want to comment on Corey Lindsay and the steps he took after last week, going into this week with some rule changes and taking himself out of the car, which, we run the Ferrari thing Wednesday nights, and I really wouldn't want to take myself out of the car. That'd be like a last resort thing that I would want to have to fall to. So I understand from that perspective that had to have been difficult to just now he's got to sit there and monitor things and make things go smoothly. And I think tonight was a much better representation of what we want from the league as a whole. And he did a great job on that. He does a great job running this show. and you guys for broadcasting it tonight.
All right, Eric, well said, and I think we all agree. Definitely a great show. Very fun to broadcast, very fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch you chase the 3-wide championship coming up, bud.
Yeah, I hope it's going to be as fun as the first half of the season's been.
Well, speaking of chasing championships there, Trey, they got to be sure to join us tomorrow night as Peter Short looks to chase that championship and become the Drive for Suicide Prevention Dirt Sprint Car Series champion. He's going to have I wouldn't say a tough task. He kind of just has to keep Kyle Hanshaw at sight tomorrow night, but anything could happen. Maybe we'll have a huge field turn up tomorrow and see if they can battle it out for this championship.
Inaugural championship.
Yeah.
I gotta say that race really lifted my spirits after losing a croc in the muck of the river. So I'm really excited to see that
I hope
we
it was
had
a
a nice
shoe.
clean race. Yes, not an actual crocodile. That'd be terrifying.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, on slate for a full week here. A little dirt on Monday, some road action on Wednesday. We'll be back on the oval side next Sunday, so make sure you turn into OCR TV for all your racing needs.
Yeah, active chat tonight. Thanks to everyone who came out and chatted. But until tomorrow night, Trey, tell them what they can do.
See ya!